All right, you guys. Today, my review is from TripAdvisor. It's a one dot. It is a one dot review written by N. Beth S.
Okay.
Okay, we got that from Fort Worth, Texas. The review is of the Moscow Ballet, the Nutcracker West cast.
Oh my gosh.
And just like quick little anecdote, because I know I'm Jewish and you're like, oh, well, what does that Jew know about Christmas? Anyway, I was obsessed with the Nutcracker when I was a kid. I collected Nutcrackers. I went to the ballet every year with my mom, the Philadelphia Ballet, and I would always see the Nutcracker. And every single year on Hanukkah, one of my 8 presents would be tickets to the Nutcracker. So I love the Nutcracker.
What night was it usually?
Well, with my parents, what I love that they did was we'd have 8 gifts and we could pick any of them. So each day we would just like pick which one we wanted. So I usually knew the one in the envelope was probably the Nutcracker tickets, but sometimes they would be creative about it and, like get me a cute little Nutcracker too or something with the tickets.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, good. I'm excited to hear what N. Beth S. has to say.
Yeah. Let's see what N. Beth S. and her one dot review think of the Moscow Ballet's production of the Nutcracker. The Moscow Ballet. The best, right? Not. First off, the music was canned. No live orchestra. One of the most beautiful pieces of music in history. And we get to listen to a CD. Then the usher informed us they were low on programs, and the 3 of us would have to share one. Not really a problem, because the program was pretty much useless. No list of musical movements or scenes, mainly advertising their merchandise. The 13 principal dancers were very good. Not excellent, as I would expect a Russian ballet troupe to be, but good. The rest of the cast was sad, often unprepared, out of sync, just making the moves and often not well. The Nutcracker was a stuffed toy? Seriously? Drosselmeyer did a poor job of getting hidden characters on and off stage. And the entire production was full of local children, probably from area dance studios. It was a fiasco. If I wanted to see amateur dancers, I'd go to a local dance recital. They were poorly rehearsed and made the production seem cheap and second rate, which it really was. I paid over $100 per ticket for 3 of us after Ticketmaster's ridiculous fees. And we would have been overpaying if all 3 of us had gone for $100 total. This was my first Nutcracker Ballet, and I had been looking forward to it so very much. The Moscow Ballet, how could I go wrong? Well, it did. And it ended up being a complete disappointment. It's no wonder half of the seats downstairs were empty. Others must have heard about this troupe's performances in advance. Don't waste your time or money.
Oh my God, it's a Karen.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really got thrown off there when like 3/4 of the way through, N. Beth S. mentions that this was the first time they've ever seen the Nutcracker Ballet.
Yeah, but I think they must, I don't know, have a record or something. They seem to know the music.
Tchaikovsky.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this review.
Let's hear it.
Well, okay. Even when you go to, okay, I cannot speak to like, I know that when you go to the Met Opera,
yeah,
the ensemble are like hired actors, basically. They're not like opera people.
Sure.
So like when you go and see the Nutcracker Ballet, like the chances that you're going to be seeing local children in the ensemble are like very high.
Sure.
Was it like that when you saw like the Philly Ballet or Pittsburgh or wherever it was?
It was Philadelphia. I don't think so, but I think that's because Philadelphia has like a whole
ballet company.
Correct.
Right. Because I don't know about ABT or,
Right.
I'm sure like
It's
the
sort
company
of
members are in the
similar.
back.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to an ABT, but like the ABT of Philadelphia,
Philly,
and
right.
there were kids that were a part of the company.
But like okay, I don't know anything about the Moscow Ballet, but I do know that like many of the greatest ballet dancers were like Russian. But where are they seeing this performance? Is it in Texas?
In Texas. So it seems like it's a tour of the Theater Ballet Moscow.
So are you expecting this tour from Moscow to have 90 performers?
You mean like, touring with them?
Right. Like you think like the guy that's playing like the dancing frog, like in the third act as a gift is going to be someone from Russia as well. Like that seems a little odd to me, but I get that Beth S has never seen this. And to their credit, I would be a little perturbed if I noticed that like some of the ensemble people were like not in sync or like performing poorly.
Yeah, if it was enough that it was distracting, I can see. I mean, I think the hard part is that they paid $100 a ticket.
I want to talk about that because it's expensive, especially because these are international performers. Like someone has to be paying for their visas and their housing and accommodations. Then there's all the sets. Then there's all like the cost to put on this ballet.
What do you think of the Nutcracker being a stuffed toy?
Okay, I wrote that down too. That's very odd to me. Why was it not a wooden Nutcracker?
I know. I thought that would, or like an actor playing the Nutcracker.
Well, doesn't the Nutcracker come to life?
Yeah.
At some point?
I think so. Like, I mean, I don't remember, guys. I haven't seen this since I was a kid.
Isn't there like a magic person who like turns the toys?
Yeah, like winds them up or something.
Right.
And,
so
yeah,
I feel like it usually starts with like a prop.
Right. And ends with a person.
Was Clara a Russian or was Clara like a local 7-year-old?
I don't know. I think according to this, they're suggesting that it was a local 7-year-old, which does make me wonder if you're right. I mean, and that makes sense. If it's a very large cast, maybe they can't fly everybody in and they do need some locals. And that would make me wonder, like each city that they go to, they have locals. So like if the locals in Texas are not that great, but the locals in California are really great, are you getting a different performance, or is it just that they're hiring locals, like they're hiring people from the US?
Yeah, I'm very confused by this because I would imagine so I know that Beth S is from Fort Worth, Texas. So I'm assuming she saw this in Fort Worth. I think that if you are a ballet company, like if you're a ballet theater, the Nutcracker is your bread and butter. So it's interesting to me that you would see a touring production of the Nutcracker because that would have to go into an area that doesn't have their own production, I would imagine. So then are the kids like I'm very perplexed by this because then someone has to train the ensemble lead people. Like I'm very confused.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I did appreciate that they said that the 13 principal dancers were very good, though I thought it was funny that they said that they're not excellent as they would expect a Russian ballet troupe to be, but they were still good. I mean, at least they gave a little bit of credit, because from the rest of the review, you would think that everything was terrible, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's possible that Beth S has high expectations and that their assessment of the production isn't completely accurate. Like maybe they're sort of a a glass half empty kind of person where if, 50-60% of the show is great and 40 whatever 50 is bad, then that's like a total loss for them, which I understand. It is a lot of money, and I get that feeling of being conflicted, but
I think what's coming up for me here is like, I appreciate that Beth S really wanted to see the Nutcracker for the material.
Yeah.
But it does occur to me,
it's a spectacle.
Well, if you're going to the Nutcracker Ballet, it's not going to be about the music. It's going to be about the dancing, right?
Right.
So to me, seeing that it's like canned orchestra, sure. I mean, not the most ideal, but like you're going to see the Moscow Ballet Company. So to me, I'm sort of like, okay, fine, like disappointing, but sure.
Right.
Also, it's sort of like, if you are that much of a purist, like, why are you going to the Nutcracker? It's like going to see like the Lion King on Broadway. It's like the lowest denominator for like the greatest of that art form. Not to say that the Lion King is bad, not to say that the Nutcracker is bad, but like, it is the piece that exists to welcome everyone into this art form. So
right. And I guess
to be snobby about it kind of makes me annoyed. I get the price. I get that it's expensive and you felt that it was subpar, but like,
I think that's an interesting point. I didn't really think about it that way, but I think there is a certain amount of forgiveness that is applied to a holiday show that really, I mean, the CD thing is kind of weird. That was like that's like a note, but like, it is supposed to be holiday cheer, and there's a spirit about it that I think excuses maybe some of the amateurness. Like if the kids weren't that great, but they were very cute and Christmassy, then I think you can get away with a lot more things in a Christmas show than you can otherwhere in other productions.
That's interesting. I like that we both have sort of differing opinions about the canned music, because it's not ideal to me, but it wouldn't be a deal breaker to me. But I do want to talk about these Ticketmaster fees.
Yeah. Oh my God, they're ridiculous.
What? I mean, I understand that Ticketmaster has to make their own money as well, but that really is super annoying. How much money just goes to the fees?
A lot. That's true. That's a good point, because they did bring up that the price was after the fees, and the fees can be quite pricey. The fees can be almost as expensive as the ticket itself.
I remember in New York, there was a series of years for Broadway shows where if you didn't print the tickets at home, then they would charge you a fee to like $3.50 to pick up at the theater. But now everything is on like apps now.
Everything's on your phone.
Yeah. Okay. So do we think that this is a valuable review? To me, I find value. I might have a different judgment call than Beth S, but it is interesting to me that most of the seats were empty. I think that's such a like shady thing to point out, but
I know, so sad.
But facts are facts.
Facts are facts. I know. There was a lot of caps abuse. I'm assuming you could tell in my reading. A lot of caps, a lot of punctuation abuse happening, a little bit more than I find tolerable.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do utilize caps. If you guys are on our mailing list, which if you're not, go to the website and scroll to the bottom. You'll notice that we use caps a lot of times in our top description. I'm not anti caps. I think it can be fun and it sort of makes things pop. So I'm not against it, but in this case, I did feel like it was overused.
Do you think that Beth S is being truthful, or are they being shady? Do you think Beth S is like a former ballet person who wasn't hired at Moscow?
I don't think so. I think similar to other reviews we've had, this is a case of, preference.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that the assessment here is in accordance with Beth S's assessment of the production. Am I 100% confident that everybody else who sees the show is this upset about it? No, I'm not.
You're right.
But I do think that Beth S is being honest. and I believe them.
I agree. Which
You know?
then is this common or fluke? Is like this
Hard
going
to
to be a typical experience? I mean, I would imagine that. I don't know. To me, I don't know if I'm viewing this wrong, but to me, I just feel like the Nutcracker is so like rudimentary that it's like not for like an adult. It's to like bring children to the theater to see like an art. Like I, I don't, but
I hear you. There are certain elements that they identified for me, like the CD.
mhm.
I mean, not so much that they used a pre-recording because, yeah, we can't necessarily expect there to be an orchestra on stage. But if the CD or whatever it was bad enough that it was very obvious
Noticeable, right?
that it was a CD, that's like I'm my ears are very sensitive, so that's a little bit like, ugh, I don't know if I'd want to deal with that for however many hours these productions are. And also like the stuffed toy, like there are things that they're dropping along the way that I feel like, you know, they wouldn't just make up, and it might be indicative that the quality of the show isn't that great.
Same with like the amateurish children ensemble. Like
Right.
I think it's sort of difficult to not notice that when people
Yeah.
are moving in a choreographed
Yeah, I mean, it
synchronized
almost
way.
seemed, yeah, I mean, not that we want to like eliminate the kids, but it almost seems like they would be better off, Moscow, if they just like made the show smaller, like flew a few children out or whatever it was, and like truncated the size of the ensemble just to maintain the integrity of the show. Like, I wonder if everybody was at the caliber of these, 13 principal dancers, if and Beth S would have had the same review, right? Because they are saying they're good but not excellent. Maybe they would have given it like a 3-star still. I don't think that even if they were good but excellent, I'm not confident that Beth S would have given a high review. What do you think?
It's just occurring to me now that we don't really know if it was local children. We're taking on Beth S's assessment that they were probably local children.
I don't know. It's interesting because it makes me wonder, like, they wrote it in all bold caps. The entire production was full of local children.
Okay.
So it almost makes me wonder if in this one program that the three of them are huddled around, it said something about them being local, because it's not like they're like these, people looked like local children. Like they're stating it as fact. But they just said probably from an area dance studio, so who knows?
I do really like having a program, and I really don't like when they're
sharing.
chintzy with that.
Chintzy with the programs or chintzy with the info in the program?
Chintzy with handing them out. That
Right.
bothers me. It makes me feel like I'm not a priority. I mean,
do you feel armed?
I think so. I think I could crown this. What do you think?
I think I can crown this. Yeah.
All right. So Chelsey and I each have our own set of 1 to 5 crown cards, and in an effort to be fair and not influenced by one another, we will simultaneously reveal our ratings.
The queens are tabulating.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Total score.
Wow, Trey, that's surprising to me. Trey's holding up 4 crowns. I'm holding up 3 crowns. Sorry, my screen is blurry, so it's hard to see it. Trey, let us know why you gave Beth S 4 crowns.
All right, so I gave Beth S 4 crowns because while I might not agree with their point of view on some of these things, I do think that this review is very valuable because I imagine it is not publicized anywhere that it is canned music.
Yes.
I do think that it's important to note that attendance is low. Not that that necessarily means anything. I also thought, I don't really know what Beth S's experience with ballet and the art form is.
Sure.
So the whole assessment about the quality of the dancers is neither here nor there. But I heard the point that expectations were really high since they were international.
Yes.
And they weren't that blown away. So, I mean, I know that there was lots of like spelling and grammar stuff, which I didn't actually see. So to me, the impact here is like, let me research if there is another performance by someone else that has live music, if that is that important to me. So for that reason, I gave it 4, because I think it would make me question purchasing the tickets. What about you? Why did you do 3?
I did 3 for all the same reasons that you just mentioned, but I think I took off another crown definitely for the caps lock abuse, and also for the good versus excellent comment. There was something in that assessment of they were very good but not excellent that felt a little bit like, let's just give the Moscow Ballet Nutcracker West cast a nod without having to, punch an insult in there as well. So for that reason, I decided that I needed to give Beth S 3 crowns.
Great. I love it. I feel like my chestnuts are roasting on an open fire after that review.
Mine too. I mean, if I had them. Trey.
There's a reply.
OMG, there's a reply. Oh my God. Okay.
Now, the reply is from, it's kind of written in Russian, but Ballet Moskva. And then there's some Russian after that. Anyway, here we go. Dear Beth S.
Maybe it's time.